everyone. This is Bicycle Touring Talk, episode number 124. My name is George Schlackegg,
the one and only.
and I post these quite regularly, mostly on the weekends. Those videos are meant to give you a glimpse into the bicycle tours I have done and believe are worth sharing. They're divided into playlists, and to make it easier for you to find specific tours, I have put links into the description. There's a series about cycling across Canada, then another one about cycling across Central America, and even my first ever big bicycle tour across parts of the US and Mexico that led me to write the book Destinations Are Fake, which, by the way, you can also order on Amazon. And to make that easy for you, I've left a link in the description. The current series is about the bike tour Barbara and I did together in 2019. We started out in Bogota, Colombia, a place we knew hardly anything about. If you'd like to know how we got to Bogota, well, that's in episode 123. But today, I'll tell you what it was like for the first few days in this big city of over 7 million inhabitants. After only arriving at our guest house, CNS Bogota, in the early morning hours of Saturday, January 5th, we slept in pretty good that day. As soon as we got up, we went to see our hosts, a nice family, to pay for our room, grab some quick breakfast, and also good conversation with tons of local information. William, the man of the house, was also a cab owner-operator, and he was offering tours via cab as an additional service to his guests. He was very friendly, and he actually walked us around the neighborhood to several different locales to show us where to get SIM cards for our phone and some basic toiletries and where we could eat. We discovered that the neighborhood we had experienced as spooky and potentially dangerous the night before was actually a beautiful place. People walked everywhere and spent time in the streets without fear. This was a kind of inner city neighborhood that we don't have much anymore in North America. We also found a lot of additional, very good and affordable places to eat. Our first day started out late and it passed really fast. Besides shopping and eating out at one of the local eateries, I unpacked and adjusted the bikes. As soon as it got dark, a strange fatigue hit us. And that's probably normal because we were in a different time zone with a sleep deficit. We had a great first day in Colombia and knew with certainty that we had found a good and safe place. The following day, we were going to explore the city by bike. It was Sunday and we prepared our own breakfast in the kitchen that was part of the common area of our guest house. There were no other guests at the time, so we had it all to ourselves. This place definitely had a very homey feel to it. Sunday is a special day in Bogota. We already knew about the Ciclovia, which translates to bicycle way. And indeed there are many excellent bike lanes in Bogota. But what about the Sunday being so special? Well, every Sunday morning, the city of Bogota closes about 120 kilometers of roads to car traffic and makes it available for cyclists and all kinds of other activities. People set up food stands and even bicycle maintenance stations. It's fantastic. So, guess how we spent Sunday? The route of the Ciclovia passed not too far from our place, and we were able to get there on a bike lane the entire way. The only thing to worry about was finding our way back later, but it wasn't really that hard. After riding along with the crowds for a while, we stopped at some big fancy mall, and then later we had some submarine sandwiches, huge ones, at some outdoor food vendors. We covered huge distances that day, but it was pretty much all unprotected bike lanes, which made us wonder why we didn't have a similar network at home in Edmonton. We arrived back at the hostel just before dark, and after some time to relax, went out for pizza. At the time, my daughter Jennifer was a flight attendant with Air Canada. She happened to be in Bogota for a one-day stopover as well, so we made plans to meet up the following day. That was technically a Monday, but Colombia was celebrating a holiday, so everybody was off, and even the Ciclovia was on for another day. However, that day, we took a cab to meet up with Jennifer at her hotel. It was very different from the place we were staying at. Luxurious for sure, but very similar to places in the US and Canada. Jennifer already knew some of the best places to visit around town. We took an Uber to the oldest part of town called La Candelaria. This is a very touristy place, but really nice to walk around. The old buildings are artfully decorated with murals from many different artists. And the atmosphere is very international. We even found some place that looked like our Canadian Tim Hortons. Oma is a Colombian coffee shop chain with excellent coffee and other treats. We ended our tour at the Plaza de Bolivar, Bogota's old main square. Finally, we ended up taking another Uber. They were technically illegal in Colombia, and we had to pretend like we were the driver's friends when we passed some local police. The rest of the afternoon was spent preparing our stuff for the bike tour. Besides packing our panniers, we asked our hosts nicely if we could leave our suitcases there for almost 2 months.
What?
Then we had to figure out a route to leave town. This stuff usually looks easy on maps, but this one was different, as we'd have to find our way through some streets we hadn't been to before. There were 2 different route options. Our host William had suggested to start off by going to Zipaquira, which would be an easy ride for day 1. Going further though, this route seemed to have a lot of mountains, so we were leaning more toward going the route we had envisioned prior, more or less along the Magdalena River and trying to make it to the town of La Vega on day 1. It was going to be a tougher start, 64 kilometers on day 1 versus the 44 to Zipaquira. I had a weird feeling about it. We were going to ride along a major highway without really knowing what it was like. Would it be better to listen to William and go to Zipaquira? And speaking of our host, he had offered to give us a ride all the way to La Vega because some of it was going to be steep hills, and he obviously didn't think that we were ready for that. What to do? Well, that's for the next episode when Barbara and I actually hit the road. The night before, I could barely sleep because of the excitement of starting a new tour in a new place, and some anxiety about what might expect us. We had read some comments on bicycle touring sites that Colombia was really great for cycling within the major cities, but that on the highway it was super dangerous. So what do you think? Is this crazy stuff? Well, don't miss it. Might want to subscribe. And before I forget it, you didn't watch all this because it sucked, did you? Why not let the algorithm know and hit the like button? Sorry for sounding like a broken record, but they say it's the magic secret to YouTube fame. Hoo-hoo!